Esports is the new entertainment king, and that's a fact based on statistics. Gaming events are pulling bigger numbers than NBA and NFL combined, with world tournaments filling up stadiums and shattering viewership records. And we have games like Dota 2, among others, to thank for this impressive uprising. With that being said, welcome to ZeroDeaths. Today we are taking a look at 15 things you didn't know about Dota 2. Make sure to watch until the end to find out what will happen with this year's TI-10. Number 1. The gameplay was inspired by a Starcraft map. But ZeroDeaths, Dota was inspired by that Warcraft 3 map. Well, yes, but actually no. Steve Guinsu-Feek, the original developer for Dota All-Stars, actually got inspired by Aeon of Strife, which was an old StarCraft map. Steve had to get permission from Chris Metzen, the former VP of Blizzard, to use the map's layout and his version of the game mode. He then went on creating the whole gameplay based on the StarCraft map and taking inspiration from World of Warcraft Battlegrounds, which he was a big fan of. Steve said he never expected the mode to become popular, and that inspired him to move on to creating a new title within this newly formed genre. And that brings us to number 2. Steve left Dota to make League of Legends. Listen closely. Can you hear it? It's the sound of angry fans debating which game is better. Well, that discussion doesn't matter, because both games were made by the same guy. After Steve saw the potential of Dota All-Stars, he decided to move away from the Blizzard umbrella and make his own standalone game. He partnered with 2 former business students, and together they made what is today known as League of Legends. They said they wanted to create a game more like Counter-Strike and less like Half-Life. Before leaving, Steve recruited a new guy to take over the development of Dota All-Stars. The new guy was only known by one name, Icefrog. Number 3. No one knows who Icefrog is. There was still a lot of potential with the Dota mode, and Steve decided that Icefrog has what it takes to continue pushing the game forward. Since then, Icefrog continued working on the mode, making important balance changes and gameplay updates. There is a rumor that he actually contacted Blizzard in an attempt to transform the mode into a standalone game, but Blizzard wasn't interested. Luckily, though, Valve saw the potential, and in 2009, they hired Icefrog to develop a new game, which we now know as Dota 2. To this day, no one really knows who the guy actually is. There is a rumor that his name is Abdul Ismail, but that's the only available information. Number 4. Dota 2 is not an acronym. Everybody knows that the name Dota comes from Defense of the Ancients. Dota 2, however, comes from nothing, because it's just a random name. After Valve recruited Icefrog to start working on the new title, they had to make a series of changes to avoid any copyright problems with Blizzard. Along with the changes of items and heroes, they also had to modify the actual name of the game. And although they got to keep the name, they dropped the uppercase A to avoid any trouble with Blizzard. Number 5. All the skins are on your hard drive. Dota 2 skins is a billion-dollar industry, and you have all the skins right now on your drive if you have Dota installed. Let that sink in for a second. You have billions of dollars worth of skins on your drive. You just don't have access to them. The skin market is a very clever way to make money from a free-to-play game, and the main business model that Valve follows. It's also the model they use to make history with the International, but more on that later. Number 6. Vengeful spirit could crash the game. The more things you have, the more chances for something to go wrong. Bugs are a constant factor, and that's why you have dev teams working around the clock. And although most of the bugs are minor stuff, which gets hotfixed every night, every now and then you get something that breaks the game. Literally. Back in 2014, a game-breaking bug was found in one of the heroes. If you leveled Vengeance Aura on Vengeful Spirit and then died from either the enemy tower or fountain, the game crashed. People started abusing the bug, crashing games left and right, before it was eventually patched by Valve. Number 7. Invoker's true name is Karl. Invoker is one of the most well-recognized Dota heroes. His original name and model come from Blizzard's Kael'thas Sunstrider, the leader of the Blood Elves. Since Valve had to change the names, they went with simply Kael the Invoker. However, during patch 6.72, the changelog got leaked in the Chinese community, and they rushed to make it public in English as well. In their rush, they wrote Karl instead of Kael, and Icefrog found that so funny, he started to use the name as well. Number 8. Ricky survived because of smoke. With Dota now being its own game, it also needed its own lore. One interesting story to tell is that of Ricky, the stealth assassin. He was the middle child of a great royal dynasty, second for the throne, and with a keen ability for stealth. One night, his people got betrayed and his family slaughtered. He managed to escape by using smoke as cover. A great example of how utility items win games. Write that down. Number 9. Roshan is cursed to die over and over again. According to the lore, Roshan killed a shopkeeper and stole the Aegis of the Immortal. He was then cursed by the gods to die over and over again and have other heroes steal the Aegis from him. Roshan also has its counterpart in League of Legends, a monster called Nashor, which is actually an anagram of Roshan. Number 10. Phantom Lancer is actually dead. PL was a simple fisherman from a small village, minding his own business, doing his thing. According to the lore, a powerful wizard brought war to Phantom Lancer's region, and he decided to stand his ground and protect his people. In the final battle, PL managed to emerge victorious, but with his final breath, the wizard exploded in shards of light, piercing the fisherman's body. When the dust settled, Phantom Lancer was surrounded by illusions of himself who were all under his command. Sensing his allies are coming, PL instructed his illusions to hide themselves. As the soldiers approached the champion fisherman, he vanished, revealing that he too was just another illusion. The lore suggests that Phantom Lancer actually died in the final battle, and the playable hero is only the strongest illusion. Number 11. OG is the richest Dota 2 team. The most successful team in Dota also has the most interesting upbringing. The story is too long for us to cover here, but we suggest looking it up if you are interested. What's important to know, though, is that OG is the only team who won the International back-to-back and turned kids into millionaires through the power of friendship. If you want to know more about the richest Dota 2 players, click on the top right corner to watch our dedicated video. Number 12. The most common rank is Archon 1. In ranked competitive games, rank means status before skill. There is actually a decent-sized industry on boosting and selling high-ranked accounts. You might expect that Herald, the lowest rank, to also be one of the most common ones, but it's not. In fact, there are almost as many Heralds as there are Immortals. The biggest chunk of the player base finds itself in Archon 1. Number 13. Only a handful of players have reached 9,000 MMR. Speaking of high ranks, the Hall of Fame of MMR is the 9,000 Club. Only a handful of players have ever managed to climb so high in the ELO board, not even enough to make a small tournament. Miracle was the first to hit the 9K milestone back in 2016, in a now famous match where he played anti-mage. Since then, more players joined the prestigious club, but with MMR constantly fluctuating, it's impossible to keep your Dota God badge for too long. Number 14. Valve crowdfunding. So how does a free-to-play game reach $400 million in revenue? The answer is simple: skins. It's estimated that the Dota 2 skin industry is worth a couple of billions of dollars. Every time you buy a skin, Dota gets a share, and there will never be a shortage of skins. It's a perfect market. Valve was also smart enough to implement this crowdfunding strategy to its tournaments as well. That's why in 2019, the total prize pool for the International was a whopping $34.3 million, with the biggest bulk of the money raised by buying in-game items. And speaking of tournaments, number 15. The International 2020 is postponed due to coronavirus. Marking the 10th edition, this year's TI was expected to be the biggest one yet. It was supposed to take place in August in Sweden, but in a recent blog post, Valve announced the event will happen in 2021. Just like in previous years, the prize pool will be in part funded by purchasing the Battle Pass. Valve also announced they will be modifying the DPC season for the fall, but no additional information was provided as of yet. And that's it for today. What are some interesting facts you know about Dota? Let us know in the comments. As a thank you for watching until the end, you get a bonus. In 2010, Valve filed a trademark application for the phrase "Defense of the Ancients," but someone opposed it. That someone was actually Riot Games. They said the phrase should belong to the community who worked on the Warcraft 3 mode, and not to Valve, who had nothing to do with it. In the end, Valve settled for Dota 2 with a lowercase a, and moved away from the popular phrase. Thank you for watching today's video. Make sure to click subscribe to join the ZeroDeaths community. We selected this video for you to watch next.